He's got the wrong.
I said
Oh.
Penis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Party Nerds Podcast live. We are here with an illustrious panel, and we got a lot of shit to get off our chest. First and foremost, I would like to introduce our guests and our panel. My main man, Jerv, is back in the podcast. Thank you very much.
Woo!
It's been a minute, but we back.
And he got a lot more posters on his wall this week.
Yeah, man, we got to turn this up. We got the classics up here, man. Spider-Man, Hobgoblin. Can't beat that, man. Classic.
For sure. And we got my main man, the bearded one himself. Bravo.
What's up, guys?
Also joining us for a second time on the program.
What's up, Bravo's beard?
Yeah. You see him? Also joining us for a second time on the program, Vera. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Hello.
And the yummy geek herself, Cindy. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
All right. So like I said before, we got a lot to get off our chest. If you haven't seen the post that we put up earlier today, pretty much, of course, we wanted to talk about, and we're going to talk about, the Flash and the predictions that we think are going to happen going forth in the DCEU. But more so often than not, we have to look at it and be like, are things that happen off camera, generally in most people's lives, does it affect the roles that they are going to be playing? So I ask the panel, and I'll start with, let's say, I'm going to give it the Bravo. All right. So with the speculation of pretty much what has happened recently, and I'll say recently because it's been happening in the past 2 years with Ezra Miller, and all the debacles that have happened with certain actors in their said assignments, why does Ezra Miller get to be the one to stay in his role?
Before I start, I believe it was Cindy who said Ezra identifies as they, being non-binary, so I'm going to try my best to remember that. But I would say that, Ezra being targeted the most, or Ezra being allowed to continue, is I feel that WB put a lot of eggs in their basket with how much they've been failing with the DC, and they really put a lot into this Flash movie. I feel that it has been getting a lot of good reviews, and they're looking at the bottom dollar going, no, we don't want to throw all the way the money that we are going to make. I feel if the movie was going to be terrible, and if they didn't have as much banking on it, they might have done something about it. But I highly doubt it, because at the end of the day, what speaks the most is that bottom dollar, which is truly a shame, because of the people that we've picked, I feel he's probably been the most they have been the most reprehensible.
That is extremely true. Now, Vera, do you feel like the situation at hand, are they feeling like the movie is just so good because the test screenings have gone through the roof that it's just okay to bypass everything that Ezra has done?
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to stuff like this, they really pick and choose who they want to cancel or not. Some of the allegations against him are pretty crazy, so I feel like it's a wild choice to have kept him for this.
True that. Now, Cindy, do you feel the same?
Yeah, I'm actually with Bravo on this one. I feel like they have put so much into this film, and the thing is, it's not just Ezra that would be affected. You're talking about Michael Keaton, you're talking about Ben Affleck, you're talking about Sasha Calle. Like it's a big group of people. The cast is amazing, and I just feel like at this point they just don't care. They're just gonna do what they're gonna do, and it means that this particular film is gonna be sort of like a fresh slate for the DC. Then that's exactly what they're gonna do, and they're gonna take the backlash. But I think the movie's gonna make so much money at this point that they don't care.
Now that's an interesting plot twist, Jerv. Now, what do you think? Nobody has asked any of the other actors a part of the Flash exactly all the stuff that's pretty much going on with the Ezra's mishaps.
So I think first you got to look at his allegations. I mean, it's a long list of things that have gone against Ezra. Now, there's minor things, and then there's major things. Some
And
of
then
those things were
there's
major.
gold miners.
Some of them things were major things. So things that major you can't overlook, and that's in anybody's walk of life. You know, it's in art. We all got day jobs. You know, you do something minor, you get away with it. Something major, you're probably going to lose your job for it. So that's got to be taken into consideration. Also, a lot of actors have certain things in their contracts. I knew Mark Wahlberg used for one movie he was doing. He had it in his contract that if any of the other actors were booted from the movie that he was going to do, he would still get paid. So a lot of things like that are involved too. You know what I mean? So it's either you get rid of Mark Wahlberg, you know, so you don't have to deal with that, or you pay him no matter what happens with the rest of the movie by losing that actor. But at the end of the day, some of that stuff he was doing and accused of, you know, that's serious stuff to me. You can't overlook that. And I mean, you look at Jonathan Majors right now. You know, nothing's been proven, but it's looking like he might get the boot. So what's the difference with that? Now, the first thing we're going to look at is that one dude is black and one dude isn't. You know, that's an easy way to look at it. But I'm just saying, I mean, we got to look at the picture the way it is.
Huh?
You know what I mean?
I mean, could it also be
it's a true
DC and
statement.
Marvel? The difference in that, because I feel like DC has kept all their shit actors as far as like people who've done some fucked up shit, while Marvel and let's say Disney are quick to just go, fuck this, we're not going to deal with this.
That's true.
It is a difference in company standards. I can honestly say that. Veer, do you feel like there's a difference in just the studio's actions towards the actors?
Absolutely, especially like with Disney. Disney has a strict policy with everything, even down to like their amusement parks, how people act.
Protect the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. Yep. So literally, I have pretty much, and I'll go over it very quickly, a laundry list of Ezra's allegations already dating back from 2020. So of course, back in February 2020, he was filming Fantastic Beast. He was in Iceland and he was building his cult commune at an Airbnb somewhere. And then literally 2 months later, he got caught on camera with that deleted tweet where he was choking a woman on camera and people were trying to stop him from doing it. Obviously, he went into isolation during that time because literally he didn't necessarily pop up with any mishaps until 2022, where he basically went on that little rant on, I think it was IG Live, where he was saying that he wanted to kill the KKK. And then that day, he came out the pocket with that, but he did, you know. And then, of course, a few months later, he gets into a fight at a karaoke bar in Hawaii. And literally a month after that is at a private party in Hawaii and is throwing chairs at people. But then all in the while, within these past 2 years, he's been hiding this 18-year-old kid that he found at the Standing Rock Dakota pipeline protest, and has been huddling this kid around for the past like 2 years. So
excuse me?
Obviously,
Say that again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Say that again?
He met a kid who was 16 at the time, at the Standing Rock Dakota pipeline protest, and supposedly shuttled him away from his family and took him on a world tour like he was Puffy and Mace, you know. So pretty much
That's why I said he was doing
out of
some
nowhere,
minor.
right? So of course the family of this young boy has been saying that he was grooming the young man, and he is yet to pop up back home. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, in that time frame between, I'm going to say, a few months ago and now. So
major.
obviously,
See, some things are
WB
major.
hasn't said it.
Yeah,
Grooming is major.
Some things are
Yeah.
major.
I mean, assault is major, theft is major, and they've been in that category for the past 2-3 years. And I believe not that long ago, it was a statement made by the producers of the movie or something, that they're like, oh, well, Ezra's getting the help that they need now, so they have faith. And I'm like, well, that's kind of fucked up, because I feel like there's so many mistakes that other actors have made where they don't get that chance of like, well, they're going to get better, but they're still going to be part of a film, or they're still going to be praised for that, whatever it is. It's just, it does feel like a double standard in that sense.
there was a famous comedian somewhere, I forget who exactly it was, but it started to go into a rant about the dichotomy between talent and morals. So it was like you can do anything as awful as you want, but your talent will outweigh you to keep your job. So like in his case, or better yet, even some of these other people's cases, they're feeling that they're so good of an actor. Like they're talking about these test screenings recently to where they're saying that The Flash is like top of the line, one of the best movies that they've ever seen as far as their test screenings are concerned. And the trailer comes out and everybody's giving it rave reviews. So then outside of that, it's like, okay, is everybody just going to go watch this and it's going to be a bang up movie because the press releases still have to come out? He has to sit down and interview with people at some point in time, and it's going to be a shit show.
But are they letting Ezra do that? Are they actually interviewing him? Because I heard that they're kind of keeping like them away from.
It would be weird if they didn't. The movie is called The Flash, and if The Flash isn't doing interviews, it's going to be really weird.
That's true.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. You have the aspect of what the public's perception is going to be towards these things. And I feel that's one of the biggest things that comes to issue when we're talking about this topic, not just with the examples that we've used, especially with Ezra, but I feel like another aspect of it is, people that are a little hypocritical. If you disagree with somebody, fine, don't support it.
Yeah.
But don't, at the same token, I don't think, you have a right to outright say, oh, we need to completely kick them out or anything, unless it's something major. Or, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, realistically, when it's something minor that we had, talked about with the post, if somebody says, oh, well, this is my religion or something like that, up until it starts to get into that hateful territory, if you disagree with somebody on a stance of politics or anything like that, just don't support that person. And, you can make that information a little more readily available for other people because just like Jerv knows, he didn't know the allegations that Ezra had with the minor. But at the end of the day, what are people going to do themselves? Are people going to go out and watch this movie, like you said, because it's getting rave reviews? Or are people going to stand towards it and go, yeah, while it's a good movie and everything, I'm sure it's a good movie, I can't support something that this man's been in because of the things that he's done.
Right. Say, even for instance, you have a person like Gina Carano, who literally got let go from The Mandalorian, and yet she got let go because of maybe I think it was a series of maybe around 4 tweets that she put out there or something that she put on IG. Now, is there necessarily a double standard, Vera? Would you say it was?
I think it's a case by case basis with all this, because at what point are you gonna hold people accountable? Like you were saying, outweighing your talent and who you are as a person, it kind of, I don't know how to explain it actually.
I mean, you can't hold. I feel like you can hold people accountable when the actions are so major that it's hurting other people, or it can possibly influence, the other people hurting other people. But I also feel like what you were saying, you can't try to cancel someone based on your personal bias. That's also, it's at what point do we cross that line of let's hold them accountable, or I just don't like them because they don't have the same opinion that I have. So it's.
It's very true.
And as Vera said earlier, now, Gina was under the Marvel brand.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, necessarily, say for instance, none of this shit ever happened. Nothing with Ezra ever happened, and we had no idea who this person was behind his character or who he is as an actor, and yet we go into this movie watching Flash for the very first time, and we see that trailer. Jerv, what did you think of the trailer?
Trailer's fire, bro. You got Batman and Batman in it. That trailer is off the hook, yo. That shit is fire.
Yeah,
it is.
This is the hypocrisy.
Listen, that trailer's fire. I'm not even gonna lie. I hope this movie is great. We've been rooting for DC since we started this podcast to do something great. and they have yet to just get us where we want to be with them, like we were with Marvel. So this is their chance.
So are we 100% going to shove this to the side because we've been waiting for DC to do some banging ass shit?
Listen, if DC didn't do no shit about it, I can't do nothing about it. You know, I might as well just enjoy that movie.
I'm going for Michael Keaton.
So you going?
So.
Okay. So we do realize that there is. We do realize that there's more than one actor in this movie, and that we're willing to support them. But I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, WB probably has a clause out there to a lot of their actors saying, don't answer any questions about Ezra.
That would be smart. That would be very smart.
That's why I don't think they're going to be doing much interviews with Ezra. I have a feeling that if they do like the press junkets and all that stuff, it's probably going to be a combination of like 3 of the main actors, 2 of the main actors, but I don't see them putting Ezra in that many interviews.
Yeah,
I think that would be kind of stupid and a risk.
Yeah, they'll most likely do or something like that, where it's a controlled environment with the studio itself. However, at the end of the day, like me personally, like I feel it's the same thing if we went to any job. Like, listen, if I went to a Burger King or anything like that, and it was, oh yeah, you know, this guy he stole something when he was 17, I'd be like, I don't care. But if it, oh yeah, we went to this small business, it turns out the owner's a Nazi. It's, well, I'm not fucking going there.
Yeah. Well, we got some comments in the chat. The first one is from Instant Hell Murder. He says it is 100% going to be a Batman movie. There's already 2 Batmans in this movie. Do we feel like this is more substantial to be a Batman movie than it is a Flash movie?
There's 2 Flashes.
Maybe 3.
Same person. Maybe 3. But yeah, it's Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck.
No, it's not going to be a Batman movie. I think Ben Affleck will be in it less than Michael Keaton will. I think Ben Affleck will have a small role in this film. Of course, it looks like Michael Keaton will have a bigger role in it because he looks like he's in the big action sequences. And, you know, that storyline from the comics, it kind of looks that way. But it's a Flash movie at the end of the day. It has to be, because this has to either reset this timeline and this whole cinematic universe or not. And it's probably going to reset it.
Yeah.
Now, for nostalgia purposes, because Michael Keaton is involved in this, and this is this is Michael Keaton's Batman, does that draw your interest, Vera?
I don't think I've ever watched the Batman with Michael Keaton in it.
No! Oh my God! Oh my! Did anybody carbon date this girl? What is going on?
Sorry. I said this.
We're gonna get you hooked up.
It could be a generational thing.
No, we're gonna get you hooked up. It actually has one of the best soundtracks ever written for a comic book movie, all done by Prince.
Oh, I love a good.
So you should be looking.
Prince is Vera. Do you know who?
No, she's like the artist who was formerly known as Prince.
Do you know who Prince is, Vera?
Yes, I know who Prince is.
Not Prince Charles.
No.
Okay.
Prince Royce.
Just check it.
Oh, fingerprints. I don't
Oh, that bravo.
But this is okay. Then I'll ask you this, Vera, because Ben Affleck was supposed to step away from his role as Batman after he got done doing those god awful Zack Snyder films, but yet he's back for this movie. Does that then draw your interest to bring in the fact that Ben Affleck could return as Batman?
Possibly. It depends. I have to see the movie.
Okay. Got you. I understand that. Now I'll ask Cindy the nostalgia question. Michael Keaton is in this movie. What does that mean to you?
fuck yes. It means fuck yes. I'm gonna watch the movie because it's Michael Keaton. Because that was the first memory I have of watching a movie in theaters was Batman. And holy fuck. And then you have Batman Return. I mean, yes, of course, Michael Keaton. Yes, yes, yes. And no, I'm gonna already tell you, I don't give a shit about Ben Affleck. I'm there for Michael Keaton. So
Tell us how you really feel.
now, who's to say? Yeah, bravo. Who's to say that we're totally being asinine out of this, and Supergirl ends up being the star of this whole damn movie?
I mean, that's the other thing. We don't know. We've been fooled by trailers before, with plenty of reveals. However, usually Warner Brothers tends to put too much in the trailers. So it actually seemed like it was a little bit of everybody going on, but Batman seemed to be the biggest draw about what was going on with this movie. So, I mean, while they're going to probably introduce Supergirl, they're going to have the Flashes and everything. I feel the main focus of maybe not the main focus, but the biggest attention towards where they want the scenes to go is going to be Batman.
But Jerv, how do you feel about General Zod returning?
You know, it just the way it looks like the storyline is because Barry reset the timeline or messed it all up. You know, it's pretty dope. I mean, he was great in Man of Steel. You know, so Zod, you know, just to bring that character back, and the way it looks like there are no superheroes, so Zod is just about to take over the Earth. Like I said, I think that's a nice little twist that they put in there.
Well, we got another comment in the chat that said, "Can everybody admit that Michael Keaton is Batman? Ben Affleck comes second due to the warehouse scene." This is coming from Albert Court.
Hell no. Hell no. Ben Affleck is the best Batman. Let's put that down right there. Sorry, Cindy. Ben Affleck's the best Batman.
What?
Did we watch the same films? He didn't even try. What are you talking
Wait,
about?
Jervis, is he the best Batman because due to the CGI and today's technology within the movie business?
No, he's the best Batman.
Was it because he had like no facial expression and so he was just blank? He was just reading his lines.
Come on, Michael Keaton couldn't even turn his neck. Come on, come on. Batman got to turn his head. Couldn't even turn his neck.
He didn't need to. He did not need to.
I'll read this earlier comment. Knuckles Media Fiends basically said, "I can't watch it. I'm sorry. Fuck Ezra for real. I feel like if I watch it, that's still supporting him."
I agree.
I mean,
which makes sense.
Like my thing was, had DC actually done something and was like, hey, we cut our ties with Ezra, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're still putting out the movie because we have our investment and there's other people involved. Then I would I would see it because I'm like, all right, well, at least I understand them not getting rid of their investment, but they cut ties with him. I'd be like, cool. Like, you know, it's the same thing if Disney didn't get rid of Gina, like with all that she had done. If they put out the show that they were going to do with her, I wouldn't have watched it. And I probably would have thought less of Disney as well. But since they cut her, I was like, cool. Now I'm free to watch everything that they're doing.
But it doesn't mean anything to you that he's getting help for his problems?
No, because he's getting help after he's been caught doing several terrible things for years. And like,
somebody go get that boy.
If he changes, like not right before his movie comes out, like if he actually faced any type of penance and, you know, regretted what he did, then yeah, people can change and I'd give people second chances, but not if it's, oh yeah, you know, I'm very sorry about the actions I've done and how they've affected the people around. Like, no.
Yeah,
come on, man. That's not a marketing ploy, Bravo. Stop that.
So, as far as a prediction for how this movie could possibly, I guess, end, if it's an official reboot, does this mean basically that Barry is just going to hop on the cosmic time with the cosmic timeline and just disappear?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Do you think they're gonna cut ties? WB's gonna cut ties with them? Says, all right, you did your duty. Now f off. We gotta cast a new Flash.
Not if this makes that money.
Probably.
I mean, has to. He look at all the shit he's done. They have to cut ties with him after this movie.
Why? They're putting the movie out. Why would you cut ties and not put the movie? Listen, they didn't put other movies out.
Yeah.
Okay.
James Gunn scrapped other movies that were done. Batgirl scrapped that whole movie. That movie was in the can, ready to come out. And he trashed that shit.
I understand, but I know he's doing promo right now. Is Ezra doing out there doing promo interviews?
No.
I haven't seen anything. None.
Okay.
Zero.
I've just seen
Nothing.
articles
And the
about
movie drops
his track
in
record.
3 weeks.
Shit.
That's what I'm telling you. They would be stupid to allow them to do interviews.
So
Which
they give him
makes
that
me
hot
think
shot.
that maybe they will cut. Maybe they will cut. Even if the movie does make a shitload of money, if they're smart, I don't know. They might end up cutting and then hopefully bringing someone that I guess fans have been rooting for. Like, I know everybody says Grant Gustin is too old, but I mean, I'm sure they can figure that shit out. If they would have cast him, it would have probably been better.
Listen, they didn't cut Amber Heard out of Aquaman 2. And she has a small role. It's not a big role. It's a small role in that film. Ezra is carrying this movie, yes, with the other Batman and Supergirl, but it's his movie. He's the star. So to me, if this movie makes money, make a Flash 2 with Ezra and keep that thing rolling. That's why not.
I think ultimately, George's right.
So-
That's what their plan is. They're going, hey, we'll see if we're going to cut ties with him if this doesn't make its money. But if it does,
But
man,
they got
it's
help.
valuable.
They got help. And everybody loves a great comeback story.
That's true, but is that going to be the new norm now, moving forward, with actors who are going to act up, and movie companies say, okay, you effed up, but you have to do better on the next one, or else blah blah blah. Is that the new norm now?
It's been the norm.
I can't say it's going to be the new norm.
It's been.
If the practice is to stay quiet, that's going to be the weirdest red carpet you've ever seen in your life.
I mean, are we going to pretend like we didn't know what was going on with Harvey Weinstein for years? Like, they didn't say it, but they kept him going on. Like,
Until we heard about it, we didn't know.
they were making a lot of comments about
And now you do.
Yeah, now. But that's the thing is, when he was the golden goose, nobody was doing anything about it, and it was a well-known secret.
Everyone
You
knew
can
it.
look up where they're making jokes about it at different Oscars or Grammys or anything like that. Like, at the end of the day, like it's the same with any business. Is it worth it? Or actually, a perfect example is Fight Club, talking about at the very beginning whether or not they do a recall for the cars. Does it cost more money to pay out the lawsuits that are going to come from the wrongful death, or does it cost more money to do the recalls? This has been going on for years. It's nothing new.
It's like settling a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go to court and fight to clear your name, even though you know you're innocent? Or do you just want to pay that person off, let it go away, and you can get back to business?
Right. And
I'm sure they figured out.
Good Lord.
they're going to go with whatever makes them the most money. And at the end of the day, that's why places like Disney are kicking out people, because their fan base is very towards that. They are very vocal, and they will vote with their wallets.
Okay, so hypothetically, this movie makes $1 billion. What happens with Ezra Miller?
They make another movie.
The Flash 2.
Back in the habit.
Good. He's got a comeback story.
The Flashing, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. If this movie makes $1
no.
billion, yes, man. Absolutely.
Do we think it's going to make $1 billion? Like, honestly, do we really think that it'll make $1 billion?
Michael
No.
Keaton.
No.
I
mean, yeah, it is Michael Keaton, but no.
I think the days of superhero
Like,
movies making $1 billion may be gone. Not every. I think for now that might be gone.
So I think
Yeah,
all the old
we're at a
movies are coming
standstill
out.
right now. I mean, at its highest, there's movies still making $800 million. Comic book movies.
But I think that's where the market's
But
going
other
to
than
come
that-
down to. That's the success now is 800 million.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Guardians of the Galaxy in its second week has already done 500 million globally. So that's just in 2 weeks, and that's an emotional ass film. Now, does it sell enough for it to do so? No, because there was no real big cliffhanger for you to watch part 3.
Yeah.
Sure. And look, even that real quick, even about Guardians, animal lovers, man, is there going to be a big backlash for that movie? Is it going to hit that 800 million mark? Because it's not going to get repeat business from people that are animal lovers who saw that movie and were a little bit disturbed and bothered by what they saw.
I love animals.
It's a toss up.
I feel that's a different
it's
thing because they're not glorifying it; they're showing how horrible it is.
Yeah, I think even PETA came out with a statement saying that they were glad that they showed that so that people could see how animals get abused. And so they actually, PETA hates everything, but they actually liked the fact that the movie kind of showed this. And I don't.
It's like saying the boy in striped pajamas or Schindler's List is promoting Nazism because it shows how horrible those things are. I think that's very important. And if you are an advocate for those things, you would want them shown in that light so that people are a little more aware of how terrible some things can be.
Okay. Vera, Barry Allen's Flash, Ezra Miller's character dies at the end of this movie. Is there a standing ovation?
I don't think so.
Jerv, what you think? Will you be if he dies in this movie, you jumping up?
It don't matter, man. He coming back in another timeline.
Literally.
Doesn't matter.
All the way back on the cosmic treadmill. Well, hey, look, this was an amazing paddle. We got to talk about, of course, Flash in its highest form. So obviously you can see that all of us may see the movie and some of us may not see this movie. Some of us are going to just like bootleg it, like Jorge's going to literally pirate this shit. And then pretty much that's going to be it with it. Now, if you could bootleg this movie, you're not really supporting them. Am I right, Jorge?
That's right.
That's right. So if you bootleg the movie, the Jorge will send you the torrents. All right. So for all of us at the party nerds crew,
will be in Hindi, and then I can get the regular ones.
So for Bravo, myself, Fax, Jerv, Vera, Cindy, and Jorge, we are out.
Woo!
We're still live, guys.
Shut off the live, fool.
Don't worry.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
We're still alive.
This movie better be good.
I like how me and Jervo still did the woo, like we still are in the podcast.
You did, like we were in the studio, like we were in Wildfire. Woo!
I actually do think the movie's going to be good.
Jorge, I would say Jorge still ain't cut off the live. He still got us on here. You know what he's doing?
Left and we're live.
He's still recording. No, he's still recording, so he can do some funny editing bullshit and then send it to us. That's what he does.
Listen, James Gunn is telling everybody this movie is great. Like,
I think it is good.